Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to the press conference of the State Council Information Office. Today we will continue with a series of press conferences on the high-quality delivery of the 14th Five-Year Plan. We are very happy to have with us Mr. Wang Wentao, Minister of Commerce, to brief us on the achievements of high-quality commerce development in the 14th Five-Year Plan period and take your questions. We are also joined by Mr. Li Chenggang, CITR and Vice Minister of Commerce. Mr. Lin Ji, Deputy CITR and Vice Minister of Commerce. Mr. Shen Qiuping, Vice Minister of Commerce. Now let me ask Mr. Wang Wentao to make some opening remarks. Thank you, moderator, members of the press. Good morning. First, I'd like to thank you for your interest and attention to commerce work. Today, I'm very happy to have this exchange with you on commerce development of the 14th Five-Year Plan period. The 5 years of the 14th Five-Year Plan period is very unusual and extraordinary. Under the strong leadership of the CPC Central with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, we have conscientiously implemented the tasks and decisions of the 14th Plan, anchored in the three importance of commerce positioning. We have overcome difficulties, fought courageously and effectively, explored and innovated, and concretely advanced the implementation of various objectives of tasks. Overall commerce development has weathered one shock after another and withstood historic tests. From consumption, foreign trade, foreign investment, and outbound investment cooperation, we have gone through the major areas. The major objectives and indicators have been proceeding according to expectations. Major tasks have been going smoothly, and high-quality commerce development has made significant progress, contributing to the complete success of the 14th Five-Year Plan. Now let me share with you the major achievements of commerce development during the 14th Five-Year Plan period in four aspects. First, consumption. The role of consumption as major engine and stabilizer has increased, underlining the advantage of a big domestic market. Our consumption market ranks world's number 2. In the past 4 years, total retail sales of consumer goods were up 5.5% on average annually and is likely to exceed 50 trillion RMB this year. Services consumption has maintained rapid growth. The share of services consumption of household was up 3.5 percentage points, hitting 46.1%. New consumption is booming with diversified and rich new business types and scenarios. People's good life has become more specific and vivid. The annual contribution of consumption to economic growth has reached around 60%. The role of consumption as the main engine is continuously showing. The advantage of China's strong domestic market has been enhanced with greater dynamism. Second, foreign trade. China's status as a major economic and trading powerhouse has been further consolidated with great achievements in high-quality development. Foreign trade, as we all know, we have withstood external pressure, shown resilience. In terms of trading goods, it has ranked the world number 1. International market shares for imports and exports have stabilized above 14% and 10%. The scale of trading services ranks the world's number 2, stably. Last year, we breached $1 trillion for the first time. For trading services, quality of foreign investment has improved. Since the 14th Five-Year Plan period, we have attracted more than $700 billion, overshooting our expectations. The brand of Invest in China has been continuously burnished with optimizing FDI structure. Industrial and supply chain international cooperation proceeds in an orderly manner. Outbound investment has been growing above 5% annually on average, ranking among the top 3 of the world in terms of contractual engineering overseas. We have seen steady growth. We've also signed multiple industrial and supply chain cooperation MOUs with Belt and Road partner countries. Third, high standard opening up. It's been accelerating. Win-win cooperation keeps expanding. Items on active list for foreign investment has been continuously reduced. Access restrictions on manufacturing has been eliminated. Liberalization pilots in telecommunications and biotechnology are proceeding in an orderly way. The 22 pilot free trade zones have been playing an effective role as comprehensive experimentation platform for reform and opening up. We proactively aligned with international high-standard economic and trade rules. With pilots and trials, we have expanded proactive opening up, unilateral opening up in an orderly way, granting zero tariff treatment to 100% of the tariff lines of products from LDCs and African countries with diplomatic relations with China. We also advanced our accession process to CPTPP and deeper implemented RCEP in a high-quality manner. In 2024, 43% of China's trading goods were with FTA partners. Fourth, we have continuously improved systems to maintain economic security with greater capability to prevent risks and respond to shocks. We have improved foreign economic and trade rule of law system, introduced the regulations on export control of dual-use goods, improved export control system, used well trade remedies instruments, appropriately handled trade frictions. We've done a good job in foreign investment security review in a compliant manner to safeguard high standard opening up. We have negotiated and upgraded investment agreements with related countries, appropriately handled major overseas emergencies, maintaining overseas interests security. In the past 5 years, we feel that the more difficult and challenging the situation is, the clearer are China's advantages in system, supersized market, and complete industrial system. The clearer are the broad potential, strong resilience, and great dynamism of the Chinese economy. The clearer is the strong sense of responsibility of China as a major responsible country moving forward. MOFCOM will follow the deployment of the CPC Central, adapt to changing situations, grasp strategic priorities, goals and directions, and actively plan for high-quality commerce development of the 15th five-year plan period. These are my brief opening remarks. Now my colleagues and I would like to take your questions. Thank you. Thank you, Minister Wang. Now let's proceed to the questions. Please identify yourself before you raise the questions. Please raise your hands for questions. Foreign journalist first, in the fourth row, please.
Thank you. Let me take your question. To start, let me thank you for raising this question. And to start, let me briefly review the 14th five-year plan before moving on to the 15th five-year plan. So let us start with a broader picture. From an international perspective, during the 14th five-year plan period, China's per capita GDP fell within the bound between 10,000 to 20,000 US dollars. This bound features rapid diversion of consumption demands and transformation of consumption structures. And this bound was covered by the 14th five-year plan and for the first part of the 15th five-year plan. In this period, new changes and highlights would emerge on the consumption markets. It is in line with the development of the consumer market, and this faces distinct features. Over the past 5 years, MOFCOM conscientiously implemented the decisions of the CPC Central Committee and adapted to the new trends. We have taken measures to boost consumption for expansion of the consumer market, optimization of consumption structure, and rapid unleash of consumption potential. As a result, we fostered a stronger domestic economy. And only by reviewing the 14th Five-Year Plan can we have an outlook of the 15th Five-Year Plan. And I would like to summarize the 14th Five-Year Plan with 4 keywords. The first keyword is expansion of the supersized domestic market. China remained the world's second largest consumer market, and total retail sales increased from 39.1 trillion RMB in 2020 to 48.3 trillion RMB in 2024, with an annual increase of 5.5%. Compared with the United States, in absolute terms, China's total retail sale is about 80% of that of the U.S. But in terms of real purchasing power, according to statistics and calculations from the World Bank, China's total retail sales has already exceeded that of the U.S. at 1.6 times that of the U.S. As we look at retail sale performance in the first half of this year, we are able to surpass the 50 trillion RMB mark for the whole year. In market segments, China has been the largest online retail market for 12 consecutive years, and number one automobile market for 16 years straight. Home appliances, such as washing machines and air conditioners, are where China ranks top in the world. I must stress that China has a population of 1.4 billion people, so any product category times 1.4 billion people would represent a massive market. The second keyword is enhancement of quality service for all Chinese households. The pursuit of our people has shifted from leading a life to leading a better life. For commodity consumption, we introduced a series of supporting policies such as trade-ins of consumer goods. It not only stimulates consumption, but also rolls out smart and green new products onto the market, thus improving people's life. Ever since we started this initiative last September, the retail sales of household appliances has maintained a double-digit growth. NEV ownership increased by 5.4 times from 2020, and NEV penetration rate reached 50.2% in the first half this year. As of the end of the first half this year, the trading programs has boosted sales by 2.9 trillion RMB, benefiting 400 million transactions. Many people commented on the internet that the trading programs have been the most popular policy ever. In services consumption, we saw rapid growth in the 14th Five-Year Plan period. From 2021 to 2024, resident services consumption increased by a 9.6% rate annually, faster than that of commodity consumption. If you take a look at your bills, you can easily see that services already accounts for a larger share than commodities in your home bills, such as household services, fitness and exercise, tourism, beauty, education, and healthcare. Those might have already accounted for a larger share than buying goods and commodities. And the main problem for the previous period was shortage on the supply side, and more clearly, shortage of supply of high-quality services. We will work with relevant departments to take targeted measures to address this issue. So we will expand opening up to the outside while reducing domestic barriers. On expanding opening up, we expanded pilot programs for healthcare and education to introduce more high-quality services. And for reducing domestic barriers, we introduced the 1+ N-series policies boosting high-quality services consumption development and launched campaigns to increase the quality of services consumption. In this aspect, we reduced the restrictive measures and increased service supply. So to answer your question, since the 2 5-year plans are connected, we will continue this policy into the 14th 5-year plan. The third keyword is reinvigoration with new consumption. We launched a campaign for innovation and improvement of the retail business to revamp traditional business models. In some places, shopping malls also host museums and aquariums, so people can go shopping for exhibition and for family entertainment in one place. The shopping malls also host cultural and tourism services, aside from business retail. We also support innovative development of time-honored brands, in particular with the popularity of Hanfu, Ma Mianqun, and other neo-Chinese outfits. Cultural and creative products and brands with Chinese design elements gained popularity both home and abroad, especially among the young people. We also promoted integrated innovation of new business types with digital consumption, high-quality e-commerce, debut economy, AI plus consumption, IP plus consumption, other new growth drivers. You have already seen robots roaming in shopping malls and other service outlets. Smart home appliances have also entered households. Plus, merch and collectible toys have become new fashion and trends. An example would be the very popular Labubu figure, as you have seen home and abroad. The fourth keyword is openness of both domestic and overseas markets. For one thing, more high-quality products and services have entered China. We grew international consumption center cities and demonstration zones for import promotion and innovation. We have hosted sessions and editions of the CIIE and Hainan Expo. From 2021 to 2024, we imported a total of 7.4 trillion RMB in terms of consumer products. This reflects how China's supersized market generates increments for global development. For another, more friends from abroad have come to China for shopping. We launched the Buy in China campaign and optimized the departure tax refund policies. In 2024, inbound tourists spent a total of $94.2 billion in China, an increase of 77.8%. Tourists to China, such as, especially with online celebrities such as Speed and other online celebrities from Taiwan and China, are growingly becoming shoppers in China. As we look into the 15th 5-year plan period, we believe that the long-term sound fundamentals of the Chinese economy remains unchanged, and China's consumer market remains brimming with potential resilience and vitality. For priorities in the 15th 5-year plan, we will sum up the good policies and effective policies during the 14th 5-year plan and translate them into long-term mechanisms. And we also recognize the growingly challenging situation home and abroad. And therefore, we will introduce new policies in light of the changing situations. We have an ample stock of tools in our toolbox, and we would roll out these targeted policies in light of the situation to further boost commodity consumption, tap the potential of service consumption, amplify new consumption, expand domestic demand, and strengthen the domestic economy. Thank you. Thank you from International Business Daily. During the 14th five-year plan period, the global FDI environment became ever more stringent, and China faced fluctuations in the utilization of FDI. Is China able to meet the 14th five-year plan target, and what has been the changes in the FDI structure?
Thank you for your question. You asked, can we meet the targets for the 14th five-year plan? And I would like to say yes. During the 14th five-year plan, we have met the target ahead of schedule. And I would like to summarize the FDI utilization during the 14th five-year plan. First, we have met the target as expected. By the end of June this year, China's total FDI utilization reached $708.73 billion during the 14th five-year plan, 6 months ahead of schedule, meeting the $700 billion target we set in the Commerce Development Plan. 229,000 foreign-funded enterprises were registered, 25,000 more than the previous 5 years. Foreign-funded enterprises have contributed 1/3 of import and export of China, 1/4 of industrial value added, 1/7 of taxation, and created 30 million jobs for China, making important contributions for China's economic and social development. Secondly, the quality of FDI utilization has increased significantly. In 2024, 34.6% of FDI went to the high-tech sector, 6 percentage points higher than in 2020. Many multinationals have chosen to establish regional headquarters and R&D centers in China. Third, we have made considerable efforts to build a sound environment for foreign investment. And there are improvements in 4 areas. First, we have improved the openness in the environment. We have fully implemented the pre-establishment national treatment plus negative list administration for foreign investment. Nationwide, we have lifted the restrictions on foreign investment in the manufacturing sector. We are also running pilot of opening up cloud services, biotechnology, and wholly foreign-owned hospitals to foreign investors in some areas. In the 20 comprehensive demonstration zones for service sector opening up, we have conducted over 1,100 pilot tasks. We have also published documents for the high-quality developments of national-level economic and development zones. Secondly, we have improved the market environment. We have implemented the 24 measures for foreign investment and the action plan to stabilize foreign investment. These measures have worked as expected. For example, among the 59 initiatives under the 24 foreign investment measures, 42 of them have been completed, while the others are making progress phase by phase. In particular, in terms of government procurement, IPR protection, cross-border data flow, and fiscal and taxation policies, the environment has been improving continuously. Third, we have improved the legal and policy environment. We have formulated, amended, and abolished over 500 laws and regulations. And in addition, we have also improved the service provision system for foreign investors. We have established a foreign investment task force at all levels to deepen regular communications with foreign-funded enterprises and foreign businesses in China, foreign business associations in China. We have also established an FIE roundtable mechanism. Since 2023, when it was established, MOFCOM has held over 30 roundtables with FIEs to help address over 1,500 requests from the foreign-funded enterprises. Fourth, Invest in China has become an iconic event. We have held over 60 Invest in China events at home and abroad. Every September, CIFID has become an iconic exhibition under the Invest in China initiative. Many executives of multinationals said that China is an ideal, secure, and promising destination for investment. It is an oasis of certainty and a promising land for investment. In March this year, President Xi Jinping met with representatives of international business community and made important speeches. He reaffirmed China's strong commitments to reform and opening up, which greatly boosted the confidence of foreign investors. To invest in China is to invest in opportunities. To invest in China is to invest in the future. We truly hope that foreign-funded enterprises can achieve greater success of their businesses in the process of Chinese modernization. Thank you. Next question. Thank you, CGT China Media Group. My question is about foreign trade. We know that China's foreign trade performance has been very sound despite the sophisticated external environment. China's foreign trade has drawn strong resilience and vitality. So how does MOFCOM evaluate foreign trade performance and outlook in these years? Thank you.
Thank you. Let me take your question. Thank you for the question. Actually, I believe in your question already answered the question on the outlook part. Our outlook is that we still have the strong resilience and momentum. And of course, I'm ready to supplement that answer. As you noted, during the 14th five-year plan period, we faced significant impact and pressure on the foreign trade front. And I think it is fair to say that we faced strong winds and chopping waters. However, under the strong leadership of the CPC Central Committee and the State Council, we resolutely rolled out policies to stabilize foreign trade, and with those we registered strong growth that bucked the trend. Let me sum up our progress with 3 keywords. The first is big. That is, we consolidated our position as a big trading nation. Our trading goods passed both the $5 trillion and $6 trillion marks. In 2024, our total foreign trade was $6.16 trillion US, or 43.8 trillion RMB, up by 32.4% from the end of the previous five-year plan, registering the largest foreign trade volume for 80 years in a row. And being big means being strong, as we are underpinned by our strength in terms of scale and system. First, our trade cooperation has benefited the world. China is a major trading partner of over 150 countries and regions. As China supplies high-quality products and services for countries and regions, it also injects certainty and stability into global industrial supply chains and supported the multilateral trading system with our concrete actions, and supported trade liberalization and facilitation. Secondly, China shares the opportunities of its supersized market with the world. In 2024, the total import of Chinese mainland and Hong Kong accounted for 13.3% of global total import according to WTO statistics, whereas the U.S. accounts for 13.6% of global imports. That is to say, the Chinese mainland plus Hong Kong, whose import mainly flows to the Chinese mainland, is only 0.3 percentage points lower than that of the U.S. So that makes China the second largest import market, second only to the U.S. and on a par with the U.S. China is also a main destination of exports for nearly 80 countries and regions. So 80 countries and regions. Of course, China has been running a long-term trade deficit in terms of services. The U.S. has the largest trade surplus with China, while China has the largest trade surplus with the United States. So it is a tit-for-tat situation, and how complementarity works in the process. Despite that, China has been actively expanding import. We have held 7 editions of the China International Import Expo, and we will hold the 8th edition this year. China has also established 43 demonstration zones for the promotion and innovation of import trade and implemented zero-tariff policies for relevant countries. The China International Import Expo, therefore, is the largest import-themed exposition, and China has hosted demonstration zones for import trade. And like I said before, China has also been granting zero-tariff treatments for the 53 African countries with diplomatic relations with China. In that sense, China's supersized market has become a market shared by the whole world, and it will continue to be a source of growth and vitality for the world economy. So as we open our door to the outside world, we embrace foreign direct investment as we embrace imports from around the world. Thirdly, foreign trade entities have become more and more diversified. In 2024, there are over 700,000 foreign traders in China, especially some innovative companies with special technologies and little giants. The private sector accounted for 64.8% of exports, up from 56% at the end of the 13th five-year plan. The second keyword is strong. That is, we have made faster strides in building a strong trading nation. With the 3 pillars put forward at the 20th CPC National Congress, that is, commodities trade, services trade, and digital trade, becoming ever more robust. Our trading goods was optimized with increased value and innovation. In 2024, high-tech products accounted for 18.2% of our total exports. New foreign trade models kept unlocking potential. Cross-border e-commerce trade reached 2.7 trillion RMB in 2024, up by 67% from 2020. Services trade saw innovation and improvement. We implemented negative list regulation on cross-border services trade. And in 2024, knowledge-intensive services trade increased by 38% from 2020. Digital trade experienced innovation-driven development. We built a number of national digital services export bases, and in 2024, digitally deliverable services increased by nearly 40% from 2020 in terms of imports and exports. We've continued to host successful editions of CIIE, Canton Fair, CIFTIS, and the Global Digital Trade Expo. The latter two focusing on trading services and the former two focusing on trading goods. So when these important exhibitions and platforms are given full play, they better underpin high-quality development of trading services. The third keyword is resilient, or significantly stronger resilience and shock resistance of China's foreign trade. Indeed, we only learn the hardship as we experience it. The past years, we have witnessed high winds and choppy waters externally. Despite that, China's foreign trade overcame those and forged ahead. We have optimized layouts and distribution of the international market, and diversified our trading partners. ASEAN has been China's largest trading partner for 5 years in a row. And in the first half this year, our trade with ASEAN increased by another 9.6% year-on-year. In 2024, China's trade with the Belt and Road partners accounted for more than 50% of China's total trade for the first time. China's trade with the U.S. decreased by 1.4 percentage points from 2020 in its share in China's total foreign trade, from 17%, and our exports to the U.S. accounted for 14.7% in 2024, down from 17.4% in 2020. And in the first half of this year, that number continued to decline. At the same time, however, China's total foreign trade continued to increase by more than 7%. So this shows how we have been pivoting away from the U.S. We also properly addressed the trade frictions. And our foreign trade businesses have actively adapted to the changes. This has demonstrated their strong resilience. They have accelerated the transformation and upgrading of their products and increased the application of high-end technologies in their products. They have opened up new trade channels and models and increased the impetus in their innovation. China's foreign trade industrial and supply chains are more refined, flexible, and efficient, adding to our capacity and confidence in addressing risks and challenges. In the 15th Five-Year Plan, we will continue to promote high-quality trade development, grow innovation drivers, expand imports as we increase exports, deepen international cooperation, increase trade resilience, and build an international trade situation featuring open cooperation, common development, and win-win situations. Thank you. Thank you. In recent years, the global economic governance system has been rapidly restructuring, and China has been playing a growing role. What has China done during the 14th Five-Year Plan period in promoting WTO reform and building the FTA network?
I will ask Vice Minister Li to answer this question. Thank you for your question. Like you said, in the 5 years of the 14th Five-Year Plan period, the global economic governance system was under restructuring. Economic globalization faces headwinds, unilateralism, protectionism are rising. International economic order and governance system face severe shocks. China firmly upholds the multilateral trading system, expands global-oriented high-standard FTA network. We have promoted the working of dual engines of multilateral cooperation and regional cooperation at the multilateral level. We firmly stand by the multilateral trading system and also is deeply engaged in WTO reform. We safeguard the authority of the WTO. Faced with WTO dysfunctionality, we actively pushed MC12 and MC13 to achieve multiple practical outcomes. We work to boost the effectiveness of the WTO and also led the conclusion of the Investment Facilitation for Development Agreement and e-commerce agreement, among other high-standard international economic and trade agreements. We were also deeply engaged in consultations of trade and environment development, supply chain stability, etc. And third, we also honor our commitments and show a strong sense of responsibility as a major country. We implement WTO obligations, strengthen compliance of international trade. With Uzbekistan, Azerbaijan and Ethiopia, we completed bilateral negotiations for their accession to the WTO to help developing members integrate into the multilateral trading system. At the same time, we also constructively engaged in multilateral institutional cooperation such as G20, BRICS and APEC. We stay committed to development and its centrality in international economic and trade agenda. We successfully helped launch the China Center for Cooperation on Special Economic Zone in BRICS countries in implementation of President Xi Jinping's instructions. At the regional level, we promote global high-standard FTA network. We have growing circle of friends. We pushed for the signing and entry into force of RCEP and makes it the world's biggest FTA by economy scale and population. We also completed negotiations on China-ASEAN FTA 3.0. We signed framework agreements on economic partnership for shared development with the 31 African countries. We also signed 8 FTA agreements and upgrade protocols. And also we have increasing level of opening up. We officially applied to join CPTPP and deeper with the mutual on duty-free treatment on trading goods with the FTA partners. We also pushed trading services and investment negotiations into the era of negative list. Digital economy and the green economy have become fixtures in our negotiations on new rules in areas, and also increasing dividends. In 2024, our exports to FTA reached 10.06 trillion RMB, up 7.6 year-on-year. Imports from FTA partners reached 9.01 trillion RMB, up 4.1%, both higher than imports and exports over the same period. So free trade preferential policies have effectively achieved win-win cooperation and common development. Currently, both at multilateral and regional level, the convening power of Chinese initiatives have been on the rise, with growing influence of Chinese propositions and cohesion of Chinese plans. Thank you. Next question in the first row, please. Well, our sense is that after 14th Five-Year Plan period development, the urban and rural areas, shopping has become more convenient and easier. The entire urban-rural commerce distribution system has been transformed. What has MOFCOM done in developing modern distribution system? What are the achievements? Thank you.
I would like to invite Vice Minister Sheng Qiuping to take your question. Thank you for your question. Distribution connects production and consumption, domestic and foreign trade, online and offline business. It is the vessel and lifeblood of the economy and is of great significance for such a large economy as China. As President Xi Jinping emphasized, building a new development paradigm requires us to build a modern distribution system as an important strategic task. During the 14th Five-Year Plan, we focused on building modern supply chains and the high-quality development of retail and wholesale industries. We made significant progress in building the modern distribution system. There is one rise and one fall. What has risen is the number of retailers and wholesalers. In 2024, China's wholesale and retail industries created a value added of 13.8 trillion yuan, second only to manufacturing sector, up by 40% from the previous 5 years, accounting for 1/10 of GDP and creating 135 million jobs. In the first half of this year, retail and wholesale value added grew by 5.9%, maintaining rapid growth. What has fallen is the aggregate logistics cost. Its share in the GDP has fallen from 14.7% 5 years ago to 14.1%. The aggregate logistics cost of key enterprises has fallen by 10%. Commerce distribution has become an important pillar of the national economy and provides strong support for the new development paradigm. To be more specific, there are 4 characteristics. First, the distribution facilities have become more convenient. In rural areas, we have deepened the county-level commerce system construction. We launched 1,000 markets and 10,000 shops initiative, which renovated 155,000 business outlets at village, township, and county level. The farmers in over 95% of administrative villages can now enjoy express delivery services. In urban areas, we have built 35 national demonstration pedestrian streets and business districts, 5,510 15-minute community life circle, which benefited 125 million residents. The convenience and happiness of urban life in China has amazed many foreign tourists. Second, the distribution network has become more improved. First, we have improved the channels. We have conducted pilot in 40 cities for the modern commercial distribution system to build a closer network of capillaries. Second is to strengthen the weak links to develop the cold chain logistics. Now there is a cold storage of 253 cubic meters in China, and the refrigerator trucks ownership has reached 495,000, up by 42.9% and 80% from the previous 5 years. This has allowed the journey from the farm to fork more convenient and more smooth. Third, the players in the distribution network have been strengthened. There are a great number of the small businesses, while the large businesses are taking the lead. First, there's a greater number. There's over 10 million retail and wholesale legal persons with 45 million self-owned individuals, accounting for 45% of the total. Second, stronger vitality. Traditional modes such as shopping malls and department stores are accelerating transformation, while new models such as member-only supermarkets and select shops are taking on new forms and have become the most vital and innovative and vibrant sector in the commercial distribution. Third is greater strength. In 2024, 17 distribution enterprises in China made it to Fortune 500 companies with revenue of over $90 billion. Fourth, distribution has become more efficient and intelligent. First, we have used AI, artificial intelligence, big data, and Internet of Things to make the whole process of commercial distribution smarter and better match supply and demand. Second is standardization. The standard pallet recycle rate has fallen from 32.4% to 37.8%, allowing these business turnover goods to add greater efficiency and lower costs. Third is decarbonization. We have fostered 32 source recycle cities and 10 used stuff resale pilot cities to promote green lifestyle. During the 15th five-year plan, we will continue to build a modern distribution system at a greater scale and higher quality for the aggregate logistics cost and make greater contribution to the national economy and the new development paradigm. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me take your question. So on the first half of your question, on how do we view the China-U.S. economic and trade relations during the 14th five-year plan period, I think to better answer that question, we need to look beyond that all the way back to the year 2018, when the U.S. started trade frictions with China. Since then, China-U.S. economic and trade relations have gone through ups and downs with numerous symbolic developments. But I think it suffices to sum up this whole process with 4 sentences. The first sentence: China-U.S. economic and trade relations have weathered winds and rains, yet both sides remain each other's important trading partners. Since 2018, the U.S. has elevated unilateralism and protectionism and instigated trade frictions. It has imposed numerous types of additional tariffs on China under Section 301, Section 232, and with the most recent announcements of so-called reciprocal tariffs and fentanyl tariffs, not to mention industry-specific tariffs. The U.S. has also rolled out narratives such as outcompete China, to build small yard high fence, and to decouple with China. So a myriad of nouns and phrases. These actions have severely disrupted and scrambled the normal economic and trade cooperation between China and the U.S. But we should also be aware that although China and the U.S. accounts for a lesser share in each other's trade, our bilateral trade in general has remained stable. In 2024, our trading goods was $688.3 billion US dollars, and our trading services was $155.8 billion US dollars in 2024, up by 18% and 34.7% respectively from 2017. And China and the US remain each other's important investment partners. These days, you have seen from the news that many CEOs from the U.S. have visited China, and a notable example would be Mr. Jensen Huang of Nvidia, whose visit to China these days have swept Chinese social media. So despite the ups and downs and narratives of decoupling, but as it turns out, artificial decoupling is simply doomed to fail, as it contradicts economic developments and public support. Therefore, although the share is decreasing, but the total volume remains stable, and we are still each other's important trading partner. Sentence number 2. Mutual benefit is the essence of China-U.S. economic and trade relations, and cooperation is the only right way forward. And it is only after these ups and downs that both sides have come to terms that there are things we need from the other side that are very difficult to substitute, at least in the short term. So that again meets the law of economics. That also reflects the essence of mutual benefit between our two sides. In 2024, the 1.6 million Chinese tourists visiting the U.S. generated 20 to 30 billion US dollars in direct revenue for the U.S. Our two-way investment creates numerous job opportunities for both countries, generates immense business opportunities and profits for our companies. For instance, American companies have a revenue of around 500 billion US dollars in China, whereas Chinese companies have a revenue of around 100 billion US dollars in the US. Sentence number 3. Differences and frictions are inevitable, and dialogue and consultation are the best choice out of the problems. President Xi Jinping has re-emphasized to the U.S. side that given the differences in stages of development and economic system, that has been the case, is the case, and will continue to be the case, it is inevitable that the two major countries will experience differences and frictions in their commercial cooperation. The key is to respect each other's core interests and major concerns and properly address differences through equal-footed dialogue. This year, President Xi has made 2 phone calls with President Trump, charting the course of China-U.S. relationship at critical historical junctures. Since May, Chinese and U.S. trade teams have had talks in Geneva and in London. On the premise of mutual respect, equal-footed consultation, and mutual benefits, we have reached the Geneva Agreement and the London Framework, which effectively stabilized the bilateral relations and brought the temperature down. I think these have proven that for China and the U.S., equal-footed dialogue and representation can properly manage differences, address conflicts, and achieve win-win outcomes. Sentence number 4, China's position is consistent and clear. That is, we will resolutely safeguard national interests and international fairness and justice. We have said repeatedly that between China and the U.S., there's win-win cooperation. There are areas that we cannot easily substitute each other. Cooperation leads to mutual benefit, and confrontation serves the interest of none. There is no winner from a trade war. China has taken resolute actions, which I don't think I need to further elaborate on this occasion, to firmly safeguard our own lawful rights and interests and development interests. And proceeding from international justice, we have also been upholding international trade, economic order, and fairness. This has won China broad-based respect and support from the international community. In the first half of this year, China's economy has withstood the pressure and continued to perform well, which has been introduced by previous speakers in previous press opportunities. China is still faced with a high level of tariffs, a 10% baseline tariff, a 20% fentanyl tariff, and roughly 23.6% overall tariffs level. So overall, more than 50% of tariffs. China has at least one of the highest tariffs from the U.S. However, like I said, China has the resilience and the vitality. In the first half of this year, our exports increased by 7.2%, and the resilience was surprising, especially from our companies. This also reflects that China's long-term good economic performance will remain unchanged. And Chinese modernization is an irresistible historic trend, and China has firm resolve and strong confidence in safeguarding our interests. So, China and the U.S., as I said, are the world's largest economies. Like we have always said, major countries should act in a way that befitting their status and demonstrate corresponding responsibility and dedication by injecting greater certainty and stability into world economic prosperity and development. That's where we demonstrate our responsibility and dedication. That's why we have told our U.S. counterparts that our work not only aims at stabilizing China-U.S. economic relations, but also the world economy. We stand ready to work with the U.S., act in the spirit of mutual respect, peaceful coexistence, and win-win cooperation, implement and safeguard the important consensus of our leaders' phone calls, the Geneva Agreement and the London Framework, and use the economic and trade consultation mechanism established in Geneva to continue strengthen dialogue and communication with the aim of increasing mutual understanding, reducing misunderstanding, increasing cooperation, and bringing our trade and economic relations back onto the normal track of healthy, stable, and sustainable development. Thank you from China Business News. Belt and Road Cooperation has been transformed from a concept into realities and from an initiative into a globally popular platform for interconnection cooperation. What are the highlights of Belt and Road Cooperation during the 14th Five-Year Plan period?
Vice Minister Li, please. Thank you for your question. During the 14th Five-Year Plan period, MOFCOM implemented in depth President Xi Jinping's important instructions on Belt and Road Cooperation and worked with related countries and followed the principle of consultation and contribution for shared benefits and pushed practical cooperation on economic and trade front towards fruitful results with the mutually beneficial and win-win results, making positive contribution to open world economy and the community of shared future for humanity. You mentioned outcomes and highlights. I'd like to share with you 4 aspects. First, trade and investment keep deepening with closer ties in industrial and supply chains. In terms of trade, our trading goods with the partner countries grew from $2.7 trillion in 2021 to $3.1 trillion in 2024, with annual average growth of 4.7%, and share in total trade also rose from 45.3% to 50.7%. In the first half of the year, it rose further to 51.8%. Over half. And partner countries' durians on dragon fruits as well as coffee, among other quality products, have entered Chinese market in larger quantities, and Chinese machinery and electronic devices have also helped the industrial development of partner countries. Investment-wise, from 2021 to the first half of 2025, our two-way investment stood at around $240 billion, and our outbound investment was about $160 billion as compared to $80 billion of inbound investment from these countries. Our twin parks programs with Malaysia and Indonesia have become calling cards of our Belt and Road cooperation. Second, project construction has been moving forward steadily with the better comprehensive effects. We have coordinated the development of landmark projects and small and beautiful livelihood projects. From 2021 to the first half of 2025, the total contractual engineering business turnover reached $600 billion. Major infrastructure projects like China-Laos Railway were completed and became operational, and China-Europe freight train service as well as new international land-sea trade corridor are accelerated, enhancing interconnectivity standards. We've also built people's livelihood projects in agriculture, education, health and poverty reduction. We've also fostered lots of technical talent for local communities by demonstrating and disseminating Juncao and hybrid rice projects. Third, emerging areas have been growing steadily with broader cooperation space. We have signed investment cooperation MOUs with more than 50 partner countries in digital, green and blue areas. We have Silk Road e-commerce partner countries, now numbering 36. We've also formed Silk Road e-commerce day and online lectures, as well as Silk Road online products, as well as other cooperation brands. We helped products from more than 120 countries to enter the Chinese market. Fourth, institutional platforms continue to improve. Coordination and communication has become smoother. We have made good use of bilateral JETC as well as unimpeded trade working group as well as investment cooperation working group, tapping into the role of platforms such as Car Expo, China-Africa Economic and Trade Expo, strengthening exchange with these countries on economic and trade front. We've signed FTAs with Ecuador, Serbia, and also signed investment agreements with Angola and Tajikistan, enhancing trade and investment, liberalization and facilitation. In the future, building upon existing success, we will deepen existing cooperation. Thank you. Next question, please. In the interest of time, last question, please. The third row. Thank you, Bauhinia from Hong Kong. During the 14th five-year plan period, China's high standard opening up has kept accelerating. Could you share with us the pioneering role of pilot free trade zones, and what are the achievements in steadily expanding institutional opening up? What are the future considerations? Thank you.
Thank you very much for the question. I would have wanted to forward the last question to my colleagues, but I think it's better I take this last question. During the 14th five-year plan period, we used pilot FTZs as test grounds for institutional opening up. We produced a number of signature and pioneering measures with breakthrough outcomes in the following aspects. First, the pilot FTZ-led institutional opening up kept improving. During the 14th five-year plan period, we had in total 22 pilot FTZs covering all regions in China. These pilot FTZs have produced institutional breakthroughs, for instance, negative lists. which now has extended to cross-border trading services and cross-border data flow. The pilot FTZs have also conducted differentiated explorations based on their local features. In 2024, pilot FTZs accounted for 19.6% and 24.3% of China's foreign trade and FDI respectively, demonstrating stronger vitality and momentum of open economic development. Second, we have actively aligned with high-standard international trade and economic rules and made new breakthroughs in key areas in terms of reform and opening up. In pilot FTZs with conditions such as Shanghai and at the Hainan Free Trade Port, we actively aligned these regions with high-standard international trade and economic rules under CPTPP and deeper, with 2 batches of pilot measures, 110 in total, in key areas such as trade, investment, IP, government procurement, and environment. And we further replicated these measures to other places in China, leveraging their pioneering and pace-setting role. Third, we launched the pioneering and integrated explorations with institutional innovation outcomes. The opinion of the CP Central Committee and the State Council on launching the pilot FTZ upgrading strategy was an overarching master plan laying out a systemic instructions for trade, investment, funds flow, transportation, movements of people, and data flow in the pilot FTZs. The pilot FTZs have launched a whole industrial chain integrated innovation based on local conditions, such as bulk commodities for Zhejiang, biomedicine for Jiangsu, and maritime economy for Shandong. Over the past 5 years, the pilot FTZs produced nearly 200 institutional innovations, and the policy dividends have been ever more tangible, visible, and accessible to companies and the Chinese people. Going forward, the MOFCOM will continue to implement the pilot FTZ upgrading strategy, work with local governments and the relevant departments to encourage the FTZs to demonstrate courage and action, and therefore improve institutional opening up, systemic reform, and the open economy. Thank you very much. Thank you, Minister Wang, and to other ministers for your attendance, and also for the friends of the press. This concludes the press release today. Thank you.